Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I am drinking. Okay, I am like on this Ole can kick. I'm telling you, but today is the Paloma.
Ah,
And like, I just like these mocktails are just amazing. But man, I'm obsessed with them and they come in a can. So,
all the better.
all the better. What are you drinking today?
Well, I went out to the outside fridge to get a buble.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing is sacred in this house.
Oh, all gone.
There is not one single can of any type of water outside. So I came inside to look because I was going to I do have some cranberry water, but I was like, nah. And then I opened the fridge. Well, there's wine left over from this weekend. And I'm like, I got to
Well,
finish it.
yeah.
So I
In the
got a
U
little
house, you wine it is. I guess wine it is.
wine it is. So I got a little Josh Rosé and I put it in my Taste of Cedar Park cup. I don't know if
Oh,
you
nice.
can. So
I can see taste.
yeah, it says Taste of Cedar Park. So it's this fundraiser that we do for the chamber every year. And planning starts for it next Thursday. So it'll be in October. And it's a huge party with food and wine and live music, and it's the best time. So I thought, okay, I'm kind of getting ready for taste. So
Mhm. I love it.
cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's been an amazing week. It's been fun. Maria started kindergarten. That
Oh,
baby is 5 years. I mean, I knew she was 5, but kindergarten, like,
yeah.
how is this possible? Today, when I was at the office, got a couple, and they see me for weight loss.
Mhm.
And they came in and I noticed some changes in her, not necessarily in her appearance, but just kind of the way she was acting.
Mhm.
And I brought him in my office. And last week, she had told me like they're getting ready to go on this huge trip out of the country and they're having to modify it because she's having trouble getting around.
Hmm.
Just she's not steady on her feet. And she told me last week, she goes, well, I went to the neurologist and I either have early Parkinson's or this medicine I'm taking is causing these symptoms. And I
Okay.
said, well, how long have these symptoms been going on? And she said, 2 years. And I said, how long have you been taking the medicine? 2 years. Oh, well, don't you think it's probably the medicine? I don't
Signs,
know.
signs point to yes. Right. Hmm.
But when I saw her today, she looked different. She was more tuned in, more awake, like focused. She even walked better and much more quickly. And so I'm like, how are you feeling? She goes, oh, I lost some weight this week. I feel okay. And I'm like, I'm not talking about weight.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your meds and you stopping them. How are you feeling?
You stopped the meds.
Well, yeah, because the doctor said it's either this or the meds and they have to rule out.
Wow.
Yeah.
She stopped the meds and now she's more agile and she's more like with it and
From my perspective, from what
right.
I saw from her today. And her husband said, I've been saying the same thing all week.
Wow.
And she's like, no, we don't know that. I don't think I feel any different. And just spinning in it. He goes, Leigh, this is what she does. She's never satisfied with anything. And I'm sitting there, they're both right here with me. And I'm going, this is why I don't like seeing couples together because they start fighting. But
Mhm.
it made me stop and just observe. She's in a loop, a habit.
Yeah.
And how often do we do that? Where this is the way it is.
Yeah. It's our struggle story and
Yes.
identify it with it. A woman who follows my business page. And she sees everything that I post, and everything that I post is either really like edgy or sassy or inspirational in some way, right? In order to get people unstuck. And so she follows everything that I say. She posts on everything, but it's constantly, if only I could manifest. Well, you are manifesting, but you're manifesting shit right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
or one day I'll be able to work with you, or, oh, I wish I could be positive. And it's just like we take on a persona that we get something from.
Oh, yeah.
Is getting something from this struggle story. She is getting something from this identity, whether it's safety, even if she knows it's fucked up.
Yeah.
It could be in this, like, I'm just going to say that life sucks all the time. I'm going to say that I'm unlucky. I'm going to say that my life is like schlep rock. But she gets something from it
Yeah.
because otherwise she wouldn't keep it.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Yeah.
another client who is constantly saying, oh, why can't I? She'll even say to me, why can't we just get a break? Why can't we just have a few moments of amazingness? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what did I like? Even all my shitty moments are amazing.
Right.
Like,
Well, and that's when you stop and you go, you never get a break. Just
right.
question them. Or every moment is shit. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. And
Yeah.
it shocks them because then
Mhm.
they have to look and then they realize, well, I do get breaks all the time. And there's
Yeah.
other moments that aren't shit.
Well, she is kind of taking on everyone else's trauma and problem.
Oh, and wearing it like a
Her,
badge.
that's a hero badge. So
Yes.
for her, it's like, well, my sister's brother's cousin's dog's friend, you know,
Yeah.
and oh my goodness, did you hear someone in the next town, their house burned down? I can't imagine. And just like feels it so deeply.
Mm.
And then says, this is just the problem with being an empath. And my response was, no, this is the problem with having really shitty boundaries.
Mhm. Well, and it's
Because,
also being a lazy empath because
yeah,
she can choose what she wants to pick up.
yes, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, I would call myself an empath too. I have
I think
deep
we all are.
someone else's emotions and how they feel, but I can choose if I'm going to feel them to the depths of my core where I'm curled up in the corner. Like
Yeah.
that's helping.
Yeah.
And my kids are, I struggle a little bit more to have that barrier with my kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not my story. And I don't want it to be my story. So I actively work on what I tell myself.
Yeah.
But for women like your client, it's like, when someone gives you a diagnosis and then you wear it on your sleeve, it's really, really hard to let it go if you've been made special or important because of that diagnosis, because of that
Mhm.
issue, because of that. If someone knows you, because, oh my gosh, did you hear? Sally Ann might have Parkinson's. Oh, are you okay?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so for me, it's about shifting how they feel important or what they feel important from. Feeling important because they're sick is not where we want to go.
Yeah.
So it's like shifting where
Mhm.
you feel important, right?
And what inspires you? Like
Yeah.
nothing is inspiring her right now,
Mm-hmm.
which I can understand. She's having a hard time getting around. There are some things, but for her to get excited about, it's just this medicine. I'll get back to where I was 2 years ago when this stuff wears off. It's going to take a little time because the doctor said it could take a month or two to get out of her system.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But within a week, already you're noticing a
I can
difference.
see it. I don't live with her. I was with her for 30, 45 minutes today,
Wow.
but I noticed a difference in a week.
And I also think of this. I think if we could get her to the place of acknowledging, I don't know her, but
Come to Cedar Park.
if we could get her to the place where she can acknowledge even the tiny little steps that she's making, the tiny little improvements, how much fucking faster could she see big, huge shifts? Because if she's thinking, I'm not changing, I don't see a difference, you guys
It's
are,
probably Parkinson's.
it's like, right? Like you sort of like slow down the universe when you do that to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you
So
want to stay in that moment instead of going, holy shit,
yeah.
I'm going on a vacation in 9 weeks. Big European vacation that they were having to modify everything. Like they canceled some things because she was like, I'm not going to be able to walk.
Oh,
And so they were modifying everything that they were doing. Well, now she has some different information.
yeah.
And I would be getting excited about that trip. What am I going to be able to do?
Mm,
A month ago, I said I was doing nothing. Like I got a scooter or something to be pushed around in
yeah,
because I'm assuming I'm not going to be able to walk.
exactly.
Now, what if I can walk? What could that mean? And getting excited about that, her outcome would be completely different
Mm,
than sitting in where she's at. And, when they started bickering and her husband was saying, "Oh, this is what she does. Nothing's ever good enough. She's never good enough. Her body's never good enough. She's never the right size. Someone's always prettier." And it hurt my heart for her
yeah.
because to be that age and
Hmm.
stuck in that, because I feel like, and I told her, I said, I feel like when I turned 50, I was liberated.
Yeah.
I had a whole different perspective. And a lot of things that mattered before I was 50, not so much, because I realized they were a waste of my time and
Hmm.
they were keeping me from showing up in life
Hmm.
like I should be showing up in life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll get through to that sweet little lady, but I'm just going to keep planting seeds each week.
Yeah.
Whatever will stick, will stick.
You know, I listened to a podcast who I think it was the Jamie Kern Lima show with Ed Milet. I think that's who it was.
Okay.
Ed, I hope it was Ed. Anyway, I'm giving him credit.
Okay.
Ed said that he believes that once he passes and he gets, let's say, to the pearly gates,
Yeah.
he meets the version of him that God created. And so,
Hmm.
right? And so like the version of him that just followed all of his gifts and all of his strengths and like just like listened to all of the nudges and was in alignment, like just lived the life that God made him to live. And there he is. And so Ed said, I believe I meet him when I die. And my goal is for us to be mirror images.
Wow.
Isn't that powerful?
Hmm.
Because I can tell you, I am not a mirror image right now.
Yeah.
Because I can feel it. I can feel, wow, I have held myself back in all of these ways. Like as soon as I think of that mirror image, I go, fuck, I've got shit to do. I got to stop holding myself back. And I mean, I do actively work on my mindset all the time.
Yeah.
Do, learning all the lessons but I still think, shit, I need more fuck it moments here.
Mhm.
When I get an idea, when I get an inspired idea, when I get a message from God or the universe or angels, like, why am I sitting on it and shitting on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why am I not saying yes more to all of those things that just drop out of nowhere?
Instead of, what does that mean?
Right.
Why won't that work?
Yeah.
And I had a little resistance in my body when you were talking about that.
Really?
Initially, it was like, oh, and then I
Mhm.
thought, oh, what? So God can say, this is what you could have been.
Right. Right.
I don't think that's the point. And
No.
then I went to, but I took some wrong turns early on.
Mhm.
And then that brought me to, yeah, and you've punished yourself for years and held yourself back because you
Mm,
won't forgive yourself for screwing up.
mhm.
And then it's like, but all of that led me to more nudges. Like, it's not like you screw up and God goes, oh, you're
Right.
done. No
Right.
more chances, no more nudges. Like, game over for you.
I also think sometimes we fuck up because we need something big enough to shift us onto the path where we're meant to be.
Because we are so
We're
on the
so
wrong path.
we're so far off. We've gotten led down or we've just taken, and so sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're clearly not getting the message. I'm dropping all of the feathers and all of the dimes and
And
all of
you're
the,
ignoring them.
you are not picking them up. So here, I'm going to stop you in your tracks.
Yeah.
What
Boom. Mhm.
I'm going to give you now. If you don't listen, like Oprah says,
Yeah.
if you don't listen to the whispers, you're going to have to listen to the screams.
Mm.
And I mean, that is about your body, I think. Like, but it works in like
No, it's everything.
everything. If you
Uh-huh.
don't listen to the nudges, if you don't listen to the whispers, you're gonna be forced to listen to the screams.
Mhm.
And so every time something happened in your life that was a big fuck up, it was like, you're gonna get your shit together and you're not listening to me. So like,
Yeah.
here, let's on track. So
Yeah.
I the big, huge moments are the ones where we're forced to get onto our path,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So I don't think it's a fuck up. I think it's divine.
Absolutely. But I didn't get there for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as carrying the shame, carrying the guilt. I should have done this. Why did I do this? You don't deserve this. Look what
Mhm.
you did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so sad because looking at my children, if it were one of them, I would be like, dust your ass off and get up and let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting stuck here, period.
Yeah. But you have also been there and worked your way up
Yeah.
and recognized you didn't have to do it the hard way. So you can say to them, move your ass
Yeah. You are worthy now.
forward
Yeah.
right fucking now with all of these mistakes
Yeah.
because we're human and we make them and we learn from them. And you needed to learn this,
Yeah.
but you don't need to roll in the dog shit any longer.
No. It's so funny. I used your phrase again this week.
Rolling in the dog shit? For which one?
So I have a hypnotherapy patient and I am working with her. She's going through something extreme. She had a health emergency and went through some shit. And I got called in to help because
Mhm.
her mindset was such that they were worried about her and how she was going to do
Okay.
during this whole process with what she had to go through.
Okay.
We're 5 weeks in at this point, and she's better every week.
Mm.
Even the doctors are going, "What are you doing to her?"
Aw.
She's so different. But not that she wasn't lovely before. She was a sweet woman, but she was freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
As she rightfully so. I get it. But she was talking about this process and she's how hard it was. And I said, "But look at what you've learned about yourself and
Mhm.
look at what you've shown yourself that you can do." And
Right.
she said, "Yeah, that is pretty awesome." And I said, "One day, and it's not today, but one day you're going to look back at what happened to you and you're going to see it as a gift." And she looked at me and I said, "Wrapped in sandpaper and dog shit, of course."
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
was like, but her situation is absolutely that.
Mhm.
But she's thriving and
Oh,
she's looking at life different. And
mhm.
she's just retired. She's a retired teacher. And so she retires and then she has this thing happen to her that could have derailed her and didn't. It's like it was perfect. Everything happened in this perfect timing for her. And I remember walking into her hospital room and she was just like, "And who are you?" Like, and then I introduced myself and she goes, "Oh, you're here."
Aw.
And she shifted, but she was ready in the
Yeah.
midst of all of that. And that's my goal. Not that I want to be in that position or any
Mhm.
position like that, but to be that willing in the midst of the shit storm
Yeah.
to say, "I don't know it all. Help.
Yeah.
Show me how to look at this differently." That's who I want to be. That's inspiring.
It's so sad, but so common that we have to wait, that we can't up level until we have a major thing that makes us shift,
Mhm.
right? I read something this morning, I think it was, that said you can have a ton of problems and then you have a health crisis and then you have one.
Correct.
You know,
Everything else is in perspective.
exactly.
Mhm.
And so, but sometimes those health crises, or the big things make us like lose the resistance to doing the work.
Mm.
So, we have this big, huge, huge thing. And it's like, I don't know, we go into crisis management maybe, but all
Yeah.
of this resistance fades away and we're faced with like face it or
Yeah.
die thing.
I
And so inspiring to see what happens from that point on when they decide to go, fuck it, let's go.
I had worked with a woman trying to help her lose like 15 pounds. She was not overweight. She just had a few pounds on her that she did not like. And I would coach her and I would like, well, it wasn't important to her because it really wasn't that much weight. So then she's starting a new career and decides she's going to start, and I've probably shared part of the story before, but she wants to focus on her career with hypnotherapy. Well, session one, and her doctor's office had called and said, "You had an abnormal mammogram. So we need you to come into the office." She didn't think anything of it. She just thought they were going to do another mammogram.
Okay.
She calls me and says, "They want to do a biopsy." I'm kind of freaking out. So I'm like, "Come in, another session. Let's talk." And so we talked about, you don't know what the result of that biopsy is.
Right.
So why are you going to take your peace away now, expecting the worst? Well,
Mhm.
the way that nurse talked about it, it did not seem like it was good news. It did not look right.
Mhm.
That it's going to be what it's going to be.
Mhm.
But how you feel now is all that matters. Well, we did a session. She calls me that Thursday. I have breast cancer.
Oh,
Get her back in. And she walked in and I'm like, how are you doing? Because, and to top it off, I had had another breast cancer patient right before her. So it was just like
a lot.
heavy on,
Yeah.
like I had to come home and meditate. But she was like, let's fucking go. Like, I want to go to MD Anderson. And she started naming, like, I don't really want to do this here in Austin. I want to go to MD Anderson. I want this thing done. She was in MD Anderson within 3 days of that conversation.
Wow.
She was inspired to make a phone call to a friend whose husband works like in HR or something. He
Mhm.
made one call, got her in.
Oh
She
my God.
was scheduled for surgery before she could get an appointment with an oncologist here in Austin.
Wow.
It was go, go, go. Within 3 months, she had her surgery. She was considered cancer free. She
Mm.
just went in for her 6-month checkup.
Mhm.
And of course, we have to do another because she was worried. What if it came back? I'm like, it didn't come back. And if it did, it's so early, they're going to catch it. Like it's not going to be a big deal. You're getting out ahead of it. But she texted me when she was done. She goes, I'm cancer free. And they're having her do acupuncture. MD Anderson has an acupuncturist on staff, and they're going to work with her, or they did work with her. And then they'll have a plan on what she needs done that she can then bring home with her and take
Nice.
to an acupuncturist here so they can do the same thing.
Nice.
It's amazing. But watching people in a health crisis,
Mhm.
nothing else fucking matters.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get her to channel because I see that in her. She manifests things like nobody's business. Like I have seen her do extraordinary, not just with her cancer, but with this new career that she's starting and knocking it out of the gate. Like just when she shows up, what a force she
Yeah.
is. But she gets scared and she sits on the sidelines, or she gets bored, or she starts to doubt herself, just like all of us do. And if we could stay in that mode of what do I want
Yeah.
instead of I'm tired, I'm stressed, or my kids are doing this, or my cousin's neighbor's brother's cat died, whatever it is that is distracting us from what we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Oh, when we let that shit go, what do we
I know.
want
So
right now?
powerful.
Well, on that note, I think we're out of time.
I think we are.
This was good and
Mhm.
quick as usual. Well, thank you, Sandra, and thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour.